So I am back to record my Love After Lockup finale video. I wanted to put this up yesterday, but this week and weekend has been super busy, and it kind of poured into this like late Saturday night, early Sunday morning type thing. So I am going to tough it out and do this review, even though I just worked like 11 hours. But I want to get this review put out because I still want to, it's still kind of fresh in my mind a little bit. So I'm going to start off with Courtney and Josh. Okay, Josh, I guess he decided to see the error of his ways and try to make it up to Courtney after he's had time to kind of sit back, reflect, and try to figure out what he can do to like kind of ease smooth things over with Courtney. So he sends her on a scavenger hunt. When she gets home, he's leaving notes everywhere, outside of the door, on the dog's collar, kind of leading her into the room to put on this blue dress and these black shoes that do not go with the outfit, but it's the thought that counts. And he wants her to kind of follow the trail of hints and clues to lead her outside to where he is chilling outside, to where he's set up like this picnic. He has the little dill pickles on the side, and they kind of talk, and he ends up showing her that he has his wedding ring, and he's kind of just ready to reconcile and make things better between him and her. So not much happened with that. We didn't really get too much more detail out of their relationship, besides the fact that since it's the finale, they're kind of showing what happened to everybody after the show stopped airing. So what ended up happening with Josh was him and Courtney are still married, and I'm going to backtrack. Courtney says, one thing that she says in this part of the video is, well, I can't understand why my husband just can't do his probation here. And I'm just, she was kind of acting like she was in a state of confusion. And it's like, girl, you were dating, sneaking around with a prisoner while you were a corrections officer. That is the reason why your husband can't stay with you. I feel like she knows that, but she's so in denial because she thinks it's so unfair that he can't live with her because she's on probation, and them being married should kind of override that. But guess what? It does not override it, because he still ends up having to go and live with his cousin. And at that point where he was living with his cousin, he ended up getting violating his probation and going back to jail for 6 months for a probation violation. So he's not back in there for 11 years, but he did end up going back to jail for 6 months. But they're still married. Okay, we are going to move on to Rachel and Doug. So Rachel and Doug, when the episode starts off, he's going out with his friend Gary, and Rachel gets a text from Doug's friend Gary's wife, and she lets her know like, hey, he came to my house, he brought some skank in here, I caught them in one of our rooms, and he is no longer welcome at my house. Your husband is a dirtbag, and if I were you, I would kick him to the curb. And yeah, he ended up leaving with the girl as well. So once Rachel found out all of this, of course, Doug was not there, and she got mad. She throws the ring out of the door because she's so upset. And I guess they cut the scene because when they come back the next day, she's kind of out in the grass in the yard, kind of looking around for the ring. I don't know if she actually regrets throwing it out, or like she says, maybe she comes to her senses and she's like, look, if this isn't going to be my wedding ring, maybe I can just go pawn it, get some money off of it, and get something out of this relationship. And Rachel ends up feeling really stupid because she finds out that Doug has been playing her since the first day that he got out of jail. She actually goes through his phone And she finds all these calls and text messages to some girl that he's been talking to since literally day one of him getting out of jail. And she realizes that everything that his sister told her was true. He was with her for what he could get, while she's in there, you know, kind of giving him everything, helping to take care of his son. And, you know, after the blinders are kind of taken off of her eyes, she admits, like, I don't even like bologna. I guess she confronted Doug about it, which was off camera, and he ended up punching the cabinet, one of the cabinets off of the, I don't want to say it's a wall, but, you know, punching one of the cabinets off of the cabinet area to where she has her cups and stuff at. And he rationalizes it to her like, be glad, well, I did this, I reacted this way because I love you. Instead of punching you in the face, I punched this cabinet, and I just tore up the cabinet pretty much. So he's basically trying to explain to her, like, in his own messed up type of way, like, because I love you, I just destroyed something in the house instead of destroying your face. Which to me is like, get a hold of your emotions. Like, you are too big, and your criminal history is too vast, and you are on probation to be still having such a short fuse like that. But at the same time, he could just be a product of his environment that she's just not going to be able to rehabilitate, because he has to be ready to change. So I'm assuming after that argument, he goes, packs all his stuff. He packs up Dougie, and they leave. He took Dougie with him. She goes in the room. All of Dougie's stuff is gone. She's like, he took the game, but I'm fine with that because I looked at him like a son, which I truly believe that. Like, Rachel was taking on a lot of responsibility, and I can understand how she looks at Dougie like he's her son, because, I mean, she's a responsible adult. So, her mom comes over, and Rachel is like, she seems like she's one of the people that kind of clean when she has a lot on her mind, and she was in there like scrubbing the porcelain off of that toilet. Her mom was like, look, just stop, take a break, come outside, let's talk, let's go out there, smoke. Which is so weird, because I didn't think that her and her mom would have the type of relationship where they smoke together, which I feel like that's not bad if that's what she's used to, but as structured as I felt like Rachel was, they just hadn't showed that aspect of her the whole season. So I don't know. I was just like, okay. But her mom was just like, I just didn't like Doug to begin with. And, you know, basically her mom's just there for her, and she's going to support Rachel through whatever. And I mean, that's her daughter, that's her baby girl. So of course she's going to be on Rachel's side. And I mean, I agree with her. What are you going to do? You're going to sit up there and get mad at her because she kicked Doug out? Like, her mom didn't like him before he even, you know, as soon as she got a chance to meet him. And her mom was spot on. She was right. Like, he was just no good. He was up to no good. But Rachel says, I can't believe I was so foolish and I fell for this. And she put up security cameras in her house, and she was just like, that's it, I'm done. Like, it took her basically to find out that he had been lying to her the whole time, and that his sister was right all along, for her to just wash her hands of it and just, you know, be like, I'm done. So to end all of that off, Doug ended up going back to jail for a probation violation like Josh did, and Dougie actually ended up moving back in with Rachel. And I feel like I kind of knew that was going to happen, because it's hard to go from instability. It's hard to go from not being stable for years and then finding somewhere stable where you know that you're listened to, the person actually, the parent actually is responsible, and you're just not going through all this foolishness, and you actually have like a safe place to be without a whole bunch of confusion, and you can actually be a child. So he went from having no stability to having stability with Rachel. And when his dad just took him, it was probably more so out of him just being emotional and not actually thinking about his son's security and stability like he has with Rachel. So Dougie probably said, no, I'd just rather go back to Rachel's house, when he probably tried to go back to having no stability. And that was probably just scary for him, just being 12 or 13 or however old he is. Like, kids need stability. So Doug and Rachel are no longer together. Doug is back in jail, or he was back in jail from a probation violation. So, that was that. The next couple that we're going to get to is Brittany and Ray. Now, when we get into the scene, Brittany and Ray, they're in the bed, and she's preparing for her dad to come to the house to meet him, so that he could just see who she's with, kind of put a face to a name and kind of get a vibe of his energy. Her half sister came with her. And, out in the driveway, Brittany was like, look, Ray's inside. He's living with me. He's probationing here. He's paroling here. So I want you to come in and meet him. And her dad was just like, okay. And he came in. They sat down. Ray was kind of like, I know what to say. All I can do is put my actions behind what I'm saying, and her family just needs to give me time to show them so I can be a part of their family. So Ray does seem genuine as far as with this situation with Brittany. He's just so nonchalant, but he just may be a more serious person. But when her dad comes in, they talk. Her half sister, she is just like, look, we don't know you. You're not bringing anything to the table. I hear you saying all this, but you're going to have to prove to us that you're not going to do her wrong, and you're not going to be in here putting your hands on her. Her dad said the same thing. Like, I don't want to deal with that ever again. Someone putting their hands on my child, and her just being in a really bad situation. And Ray is like trying his best to reassure them that he's always kept a good job, and he went through a rough patch which led him in jail, and he regrets it, but he wants to be able to prove to them that he's a good person, he comes from a good family, and that he does have good intentions for Brittany. And so her dad, he ended up just saying, all right, well, I wish you all the best. I'm gonna have some good faith in this union that you guys are trying to form until you give me reason not to. So her dad is open to giving him a chance. Now, her mom did not show up to meet him because her mom's still not ready, and she's within her rights to not be ready to meet him. And that meeting goes really good, and I think it takes Brittany by surprise because she actually starts crying. And to add, Brittany looks just like her dad. Like, she looks just like her dad. Her eyes, her nose, just that is his baby girl. So her and Ray end up going out to lunch, and they're sitting down talking, and Brittany's like, give me a timeline. Like, once we get engaged, how long do you think it needs to be before we get married? And he's like, 2, maybe 3 years. And she was like, wait a minute, that's not what you were saying at first. You kind of starting to switch it up. I kind of want to, in her mind, I feel like Brittany is like, no, I kind of want to do this within like 2 weeks instead of years. Like, I don't think she realizes that if he is truly a guy that prefers to be the man in a relationship, provide for his family, then I think she does need to give him time if she plans on having a family and things like that, because she paid for lunch, and that may have even made him uncomfortable. It's like, girl, you're already shacking up. You already done slept with him. So it's not like you're kind of bent on saving those things for marriage. You didn't say, you know what, I'm saving myself for marriage. We don't need to live together if we're not going to be married. Like, I kind of want this to move in a certain direction. So don't try to play the I'm traditional and this is kind of what I want because my biological clock is ticking, if you're not going to do it traditionally. Okay, so it's nothing new that's going to happen besides y'all exchanging vows, you getting his last name, and what? And y'all starting a family together, and you think that he want to bring children into the situation, and he can't even provide for himself yet? Like, give the boy a chance to be able to at least provide. Because if he's the type of person that he gives me the impression that he is, he wants to be able to provide. And who wants to bring children into a situation where they can't provide for them? Especially a man who wants to provide and work and be the man in a relationship and not just have to worry about his girlfriend or his wife taking care of everything. You want the man to hurry up and have a wedding, but he already says he plans on starting a business. And that's going to take time. So you want to pay for everything. You want to just continue paying the rent, paying the car note. You want to buy him a car. You want to pay for everything to the point where you just get so frustrated that now you starting to throw it in his face and make little jabs here and there, because that's what's going to end up happening. And that, I'm not saying that's the only reason that he doesn't want that to go that way, but it is a possibility that can happen, and that can start pulling them apart. So Brittany needs to pump her brakes and wait and realize that you're not in a relationship by yourself. It's not all about what you want. It's about what that other person wants as well. And you need to be more mindful of that. Like, take what he want into consideration as well as yourself. Like, and y'all gonna have to find some sort of middle ground. Okay, so they ain't say nothing about Ray going back to jail, but they did say that Brittany's still waiting on a proposal. But then again, he has to be working to go and purchase a ring for her, and she's very specific in the type of ring that she wants. She's like Joanna in the first season of Love After Lockup. I want a 1-carat diamond solitaire stone. Like, if he can't afford that, then how are you going to get it? You want to buy it for yourself? Like, I don't think that's what you want to do. So that was it for them. We're gonna move on to Stan and Lisa. Stan and Lisa, they are back at the house. They're cleaning. They're just talking. They're trying to figure out how to make food. And I'm like, do neither one of y'all know how to cook or use an oven? You just going to follow the directions to a T. So neither one of y'all know how to cook. Because all the time, the directions that's on the back of the food is not the directions that you necessarily have to use to cook and get your food made. But if you don't know how to cook, then I guess that's all you got to go by. So Stan is getting ready to meet her brother and her grandma. Now, her brother is coming over there with all kind of gripes. I wonder if this is the same brother that was caught speeding on a high-speed chase from the police. And her grandma comes over there to meet him too. And I just feel like for them to come over there judging, like, I know Stan get on a lot of people's nerves, but for them to come over there judging Stan so hard, I'm sitting up there like, he trying to give your sister and your granddaughter a life of stability that she would not have otherwise. She's not gonna have it if she living with you, and she's not gonna have it if she's living with the grandma, because y'all have known her whole life, and she been in and out of jail the whole time, which I'm not saying it's your fault, but at the same time, it's like he's trying to add to her life. He done helped her pay her daggone license fees, or whatever she needs to do to get her license back. Like, he's willing to really help her and really be a provider for her because he can afford to do that. And, she's kind of going through and looking at all his stuff that he has, a little signed baseball from Babe Ruth, and, all this memorabilia that he has. And I really hope that she don't end up robbing him. I really do. Like, Stan got his stuff with him. He got some stuff with him now. But I just feel like he not really asking her for much. She's showcasing the little toys and stuff that they use in the basement and all that other stuff, and explaining what they use in prison. Don't nobody care about that. We trying to figure out what's going on with you and Stan, because at the end of their segment, like, I ain't really get much out of Lisa and Stan's segment, because to me it's just like, you kind of do have an opportunity that you can come up And he talking about writing you into his will. You have an opportunity and you have all these gripes and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, ease your way in. You've not had any stability your whole life, and he does have stability. He does actually have something that he can offer to you. And if he's not somebody that you're gonna want to be with, like, I feel like Stan the type of person that'll be like, you know what, it's cut off. That's why when he was talking about, because I didn't get into their segment last time because my camera had cut off. But when they was at that car lot, like, I feel like Lisa be trying to figure out ways that she can play Stan to get this and get that. But at the same time, I feel like whatever she does, if she thinks that she's going to get the last laugh, I feel like Stan would be hurt, but he's going to get the last laugh because he thinks ahead before he does stuff. Just like he said, I'll put the down payment on the car, but I want the car to be in her name, and I want her to make the payment so she can feel like it's hers. And I said, yeah, you want her to feel like it's hers because when they get repoed, they won't be calling you. He probably don't plan on co-signing. He plans on helping her to obtain the car, but not to actually keep it. He's putting the ball in her court to actually keep the car that she was asking for. And that's my thing. Like, Stan does things in a certain way that makes her have to take some sort of accountability in what they're doing. He's just not doing like Deontay, just giving without expecting nothing in return. Stan at least expects her to be responsible and take accountability. You know what I mean? Because he even said that, like, well, I mean, I don't know if I want to dish out hundreds of thousands of dollars for a vehicle and I don't have any sort of like commitment or anything from you. And Lisa was beating around the bush, and the whole time Stan won't laughing. He won't doing his little creepy laugh that he always does, because I feel like she takes the way he thinks for a joke because he's old. And at the same time, I feel like that life experience and him actually being able to focus and obtain a certain amount of wealth and being able to hold down a house, hold down having a car and stuff like that, like maintain some sort of stability, that's security. And he has something to offer her and she has something to offer him. So yeah, it's gonna be a give and take relationship, but I mean, shoot, I feel like Lisa need to get with the program, or she's not going to get what she thinks she's going to get. Because by the end of their segment, they was talking about how she was still in a secret relationship, and I'm like, you gonna ruin it for yourself, just like Nicole ruined it for Deontay, because we all know she not attracted to him, but I'll get to that. But at the same time, that's it for Stan and Lisa. I believe they're going to be on Life After Lockup, so I will be watching that. I will be reviewing it, so we'll see what's going on with that. Because I think that was her mountain, doing a little rock climbing thing with him, and when she pulled his toupee off. That's how I knew it was a toupee. So, Deontay and Nicole. So we get to Deontay and Nicole, and he ends up meeting up with her, and they drop her off at City Center. They drop her off at City Center, and Tia is the one that brings her. I believe she ends up asking Tia for a ride because she didn't have a way to get out there. So she goes out there, she's talking to Deontay, and he's actually speaking to her like, you need to tell me what you want because I still love you. Like, I'm still willing to give this a chance. I still want this to work, but you need to be honest with me. Like, I'm just not understanding where your mind is at. Like, where you coming from? Like, I still love you and stuff like that. And she's getting irritated with him. Like, you need to shut up. You just need to shut up. You making me mad. He's making you mad because it irritates you to be around him because you don't like him like that. And it irritates me to watch you get irritated with him, knowing that you don't like him, but you just tolerate him just enough to get the materialistic things that you want. So Tia's the one that end up giving her a ride there, like I said before. So Tia's like, look, make it short, make it a few minutes, let him know it's done. Come back to the car. I'm sitting in the car. I guess Nicole was taking too long, so Tia decided to come out there. Now, I don't know what it is, but I have this thing about voices, and I actually like Tia's voice. Like, it just sounds so weird. I had this thing like about weird voices. Like, I really just like listening to her talk just because of like her voice tone. And I don't know if it's because her voice is like raspy or I don't know. But I like Tia's voice. Like, even though she looks like really like an older teenage boy, just the way that her facial structure is. But I like her voice. I don't know why. But she comes out there and she's talking to Deontay, and she say, hey, you know, how you doing? I'm Tia. And Deontay looking like, what you doing here? And where did you come from? And Deontay was like, is Zach about to come and join the conversation too? Like, what's going on? I feel blindsided. And Tia sitting up there lying, talk about some, I don't want Nicole like that. I ain't kiss her. Ain't nothing happened last night. Deontay was like, yeah, but y'all was posting all online. Y'all laying together, chilling, doing all this other stuff, and I know you her ex. And Tia was like, nah, it's nothing like that. And, you know, Tia's like, you know what? This part kind of confused me, because Tia was like, you know what? You actually do look better in person than you do in your pictures. And Deontay was like, thank you. And he was like, you know what? You a handsome gentleman yourself. And the music that they played, the sound effect that they played when he said that, made it seem like he was trying to play her. But I'm like, was that a rude comment to make? Because she is butch. She's a butch female. So maybe she took that as a compliment. Maybe he don't want her to be like, you know what, you a beautiful woman too. Because I feel like people would have felt like he was being funny if he said that. So that kind of threw me off. If y'all know what was going on with that, let me know, because I was kind of confused. I don't know what's politically correct to say to, you know, certain people and stuff like that. But I mean, I ain't see nothing wrong with it. Maybe that's how she want to look. Who knows? I don't know. She was dressed like she was butch, so I don't think that was really an insult to her. I don't know. If I'm wrong, just let me know. I'm willing to learn. Anyway, then Tia walks off, and it's funny because when she got up, she grabbed 2 drinks. So she got comfortable enough to come in there, order 2 drinks, a shot, and something else, and she took it with her. And I guess she was like, look, Nicole, come here, let me talk to you. And Tia basically pulled her to the side and said, look, I don't know what kind of game you playing, but you know I'm not with this. You need to choose if you going home with me or if you staying with him. And Nicole was like, I mean, I don't want to have that conversation. And Tia was like, well, I'll be at the bar. You let me know what you decide. Because Tia seemed like, you gonna go with him, I'm going to back all the way off, and you do what you want to do. If you want to go with me, you need to let that be known. But she was kind of more creating her boundaries than Deontay did. That's why I feel like she gets more results besides them already having chemistry and stuff like that. And I mean, shoot, some people were saying maybe Nicole just don't like black guys and she just used Deontay because he was spending a lot of money on her. But I don't know, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like everybody else. Like, certain things I notice and I understand and I realize, but I feel like certain things that be like right in front of my face, I don't see. Like when people were saying like, oh, well, she don't even like black guys. That's why she messed with Zach. That's why she was messing with Tia. But I'm sitting up there like, I don't know. Maybe she don't. I mean, just because she had that picture that popped up when we first met her and she was in the gym with all the black dudes, like, I don't know. She never really say who her ex was, so who knows? But, you know, she goes back, she talks to Deontay, and Deontay was like, basically, it's over and it's done, because Nicole was sitting at the bench like, I really want them both. Like, she wants Tia to be able to have fun and do what she want to do with, and she wants to keep Deontay around so that he can keep buying her things and giving her gifts, which just like, she like, I want to basically, I want the best of both worlds. I want to have my cake and eat it too. And it's like, girl, you're not in high school no more. People that like to have their cake and eat it too end up having a whole bunch of problems and drama. And obviously you ain't got it like that, because you catching Ubers, Tia giving you a ride. I ain't trying to downplay nobody and they ain't got no car, but for her to be trying to act like she got all these choices and all this and that, and like, girl, you ain't even got no way to get around. Tia got a car. So, you know, Tia's doing something. She was able to get that room. So she getting money from somewhere. Maybe she was working. Maybe she already has a job. So, you know, basically Deontay ends up leaving by himself. And after that, he's just like, you know, I'm done. We see him meet up with Derek, and this part was actually it was funny and kind of just, I don't know. I thought it was funny and kind of sad at the same time, because I'm like, did you buy a little teeny coffin to put that toy in so that you could just burn it and then burn it with that little, what are those things? The little blowtorch lighter, and then kick it into the lake? Then I thought he was going to push it out into the water. It stayed like right there on the curb. I mean, not on the curb, like right on the edge of the water, rocking back and forth while it was just on fire. And he was like, shoot, the only person that's really been here for me this whole time, for real, to take care of my needs is Nicole Jr. But he was like, I'm kicking both of them to the curb. He said, I don't need it no more. I ain't got to try to be faithful to her. I'm moving on. I'm doing what I want. So, of course, Derek was there for him because that's his friend. They've been friends for over 20 years. So I feel like really nothing ain't gonna mess that up unless Deontay do something super trifling. But seeing how he keeps saying how hard that he loves people that's, you know, a part of his life, I don't see him doing anything to mess up him and Derek's friendship. So, you know, that was it for them. Nicole does end up leaving with Tia, and she probably I don't know. I can't say she gonna end up regretting it, because I feel like they are gonna be on Life After Lockup. But if I'm not mistaken, I thought that her and Tia had ended up getting married, but I'm not 100% sure. So if y'all know, let me know. I'm gonna still go look it up, but I'm just saying. Let me know. That's the end. That's just the end of the review. Like, I feel like the season finale was just okay, because I mean it did close up some loose ends or whatever. But I just thought, oh my gosh, Anissa and Jeff, I almost forgot. So Jeff ends up kind of snooping through Anissa's things, because Anissa had been mad at him ever since Cal had told him that about his little secret 18-year-old child that's out there floating around in the world. And she was mad. Like, Jeff was like, whenever I'm trying to talk to her, she looking down or she looking at the TV, just giving him straight silent treatment. And he started snooping through her stuff because he's like, something wrong. She changed that password on that computer. He can't get on Amazon and order nothing. He was mad, okay? And, you know, he's snooping through the whole house, snooping through the rooms, snooping through the drawers, trying to find out if she's hiding anything. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. I gotta finish recording this on my computer. Camera about to die. Bye.